much is a dangerous thing.
Joining me is John Pearson, Vice President of Finance and Planning for Cape Rail, Inc. John is here today to talk about the Energy Train and Mass Coastal, which is not only about trash, John, but about moving other types of goods. So give us a little bit of history about how this freight business has been doing and some of the plans that you have for it going forward.
Right, okay, sure. Well, the sort of the bulwark of the freight railroad on the Cape is the municipal solid waste, we call it energy, that we transport off the Cape from both Yarmouth and Otis transfer stations to the CMAS power plant in Rochester. There is some other freight traffic on the actually on the Cape from time to time. It's not in terms of the volume, it's not as great as the solid waste, but we're always working with shippers to help them lower their costs of goods delivered on the Cape, principally by working with them to establish transload facilities for things like lumber and dry goods products and so forth. So those opportunities exist, and we're pursuing them. Our railroad actually goes up to Middleborough and then over to Taunton and down to Fall River, New Bedford, and on those lines we transport a lot of different products. We do a very large volume of road salt, although last year we didn't do very much because of the dry winter, but we do a very large volume of road salt into Taunton to the Gallo Salt facility in Taunton. We bring turkey and feed grain into Ventura Grain in Taunton. We do steel scrap. We do paper products. We bring a large volume of frozen fish from the Pacific Northwest to New Bedford. We actually have a business relationship where we transport crushed glass from the Rochester area. It goes down to Texas and so forth to be made into new glass bottles and containers. So there's a wide variety of products that we move. Most of them you would never know are even moving on the railroad, but they are. So the business is diversified, and we move several thousand carloads a year of that across the system.
Now, the thing that people on Cape Cod then see most of the time is the Energy Train. We all used to call it the trash train, but it's actually going to CMAS, which is using it to generate power out there. Right. So what towns do you have that you're servicing via with the trash train? Right.
Well, in the case of the Yarmouth transfer facility, which is on Station Ave, I think, in Yarmouth, we service that facility, and I don't have at the tip of my tongue all of the towns that bring their solid waste there. But
so that's a drop-off point for other towns that move it to there.
Right. Towns that want to take advantage of that bring it to the CMAS. Not CMAS, I'm sorry, to the Yarmouth transfer station, and the town of Yarmouth operates that facility, and they move it from the floor where the trucks deposit into the rail cars, and then we take it from there to CMAS. I see. Otis is a little different. In Otis, we have relationships with the 3 or 4 towns that use the Otis transfer facility, and
we do that here in Sandwich, for example.
Yeah, right, and it's also Mashpee, Bourne, and Falmouth, I believe, are the 3, and there's also the base actually uses it to some degree. So the business relationship there is a little different. But all in all, it's well over half of the solid waste that is generated on the Cape every day leaves by rail.
Now, why is it beneficial to us to have a rail system for moving freight and the trash as opposed to just using trucks on the road?
Well, 2 things. Number one, the movement of all these commodities by rail is inherently less expensive, and as fuel prices increase, it becomes less and less expensive. The gap between the cost of trucking and the cost of rail continues to move favorably in the direction of rail, and this is what Warren Buffett saw a couple of years ago when he spent $40 billion to basically buy 1/4 of the American rail system. He saw the handwriting on the wall, I believe, and we're just following in that tailwind. That's one thing. The second thing that perhaps is a little less obvious is that if the rail were removed, the truckers would not have any competitive pressure on their cost pricing. And the day the rail was gone, truck prices would escalate dramatically. So it would be a double whammy, the higher fuel costs, and without competition for transportation, the truckers would, I would argue would increase their cost to cover more of their cost of replacing trucks and their income goals and so forth. So
now, who is responsible for maintaining these rail beds, and what kind of infrastructure improvements are we seeing?
Well, the rail beds are all owned by the state, and we have on the Cape we have a license to use them, which basically with its renewals is a 25-year license. We're in about the fifth or sixth year of that, I guess. The ultimate expiration date on that is 2033. During the term of that license, we're responsible for maintaining the track, and the state also assists in the upkeep of the railroad by making capital expenditures. So far they've made capital expenditures each year to put in new ties, to rebuild certain crossings. This year we rebuilt 3 so far at Braggs Lane, Maple Street, and Route 149, Meeting House Road, and West Barnstable. Those are all new protected highway crossings, and there's 3 more scheduled for next spring. So the state does produce some capital funding for it, but the day-to-day maintenance of the railroad is our responsibility. We pay for all that and do all of that.
Well, I appreciate you coming in today, John, to talk about it. It's something that we, some of us, really love, the entire idea of having the railroad, and especially out at the West Barnstable rail station where that's been refurbished.
Right.
People really do appreciate that, and it may be a throwback to the past in some ways. However, it's good to hear that it's energy efficient and keeps actually the price of other methods of moving goods around more competitive.
Right.
So thank you very much for being here today. I appreciate that.
It was a pleasure to be here, and we'd like to come back when you would like us to talk some more. Thank you.
Great. And we'll see you in the next segment.
A little knowledge is a dangerous